Hey everyone, Marty Schneider here from Breaking Mayberry. Just want to give a quick heads up / apology. The audio quality for the episode you're about to hear is not great. Completely my fault. Tried some settings, made a mistake, did not work out. So it gets a little echoey in places, like where Dan is talking. But other than that, it's a pretty good episode. We get into some weird, wild shit in this one. This is also an episode where we talk a lot about cannabis. So, maybe if you light up now, the echo will be enhanced. It will enhance your listening experience. I don't know. Other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for everybody who's tweeted at us or subscribed or listened so far. We appreciate all of you, and we'll sound a little better next time. Thanks.
Welcome to another episode of Breaking Mayberry, the show where two guys try to learn a little bit about America and ourselves through the magic of the Andy Griffith Show.
Gets more and more wholesome every time.
I'm really working on it. It's kind of like a false sense of security. Like, I want people to listen to like, oh, what a wonderful family show. And then we just blindside them with like
with just
swears and F-bombs and socialism and
just coax them into 3 seconds of like of security before I just start spewing nightmare language.
You need the comfort of that round NPR sound.
Yeah.
That's also like, I pretty much have about 3 seconds of that in my voice. I'm Marty Schneider.
I'm Dan Ludwig.
And we have a special guest with us today. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Russ Smith. I am a freelance writer. And I'm on the show today because in the process of my work, I learn a lot about cannabis.
Yeah.
So, why did we bring on a cannabis aficionado, a cannabis researcher, onto our wholesome 1960s television program? Well, that's because today's episode of the Andy Griffith Show deals with another once federally prohibited substance.
It's a really weird, like perfect view of what an actual attitudes were towards prohibition. Like,
well, kind of.
Yeah.
So the episode that we're doing today, episode 17 of season 1, is called Alcohol and Old Lace, directed by Gene Reynolds. So we're off of the Bob Sweeney train for a little bit. This is the first time
This isn't a Sweeney episode?
It's not a Sweeney. This is the first time we've seen Gene.
Holy shit, this is like... It's weird because this smacks of Sweeney so much.
Yeah, no, it seems like one of his shticks, but yeah, so here's...
I wonder if it was a situation where this gentleman, Gene... Where Gene, like, watched the episodes up to this one and was, like, trying to mimic the style.
Yeah, and in the process took it wildly off the rails.
It is an Ellison Stewart joint.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so Charles Stewart and Jack Ellison wrote this one, as they've written, like, the majority of the ones we've done so far.
When you want a batshit Andy Griffith episode, accept no substitutes. They're your guys.
They're your guys.
Yeah.
Alright, so this aired January 30th, 1961. And in this is the first time that it is revealed that Mayberry is in a dry county. And this becomes a big plot point. As always, I'll do our one-sentence Wikipedia summary. Two spinster sisters point Andy and Barney in the direction of local moonshiners. ... But the spinsters are moonshiners too. God damn it, Mayberry.
We told everyone to watch it beforehand. But yeah, it 100% gives away the awesome fucking twist.
Yes.
Like I said before, this is 100% like a season 1 episode of Justified. Like, it has...
Oh, yeah, I thought of that.
It has the Justified twist. Like,
yeah.
It has like small town like sheriffs hunting down moonshiners in the hills of Appalachia, but then there's a twist that the mild mannered upstanding members of society turn out to be the criminals too. Like that's a fucking episode of Justified.
So let's talk about this before we start breaking down the episode. So I went ahead and looked some stuff up. So yeah, this is a revelation that Mayberry is a dry county. Now remember, this episode airs in January 30th, 1961. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not that unusual that in the South there would be dry counties in the 60s. I looked it up. There's still like a couple hundred all throughout the South. Most famously, Mason County in Kentucky, where Jack Daniels is manufactured.
Right.
Jack Daniels is made in a dry county. You cannot drink Jack Daniels from the distillery. You have to go to the next county over.
I thought they had like a special rule about that. Like you could have samples in the building, but I think that was it.
They had like a special system to let their employees drink. Like I remember that there's like they have some convoluted like way to basically sneak around that. Where like they might give their employees like vouchers for like neighboring counties or something like that.
Yes. But, so it's not that weird that Mayberry would be in a dry county, although there's really only one dry county in all of North Carolina. Yeah. And also, like, moonshining and, like, bootleg, like, liquors is a plot point all throughout the 70s and 80s, most famously the Dukes of Hazzard. However, I think in this particular case, oh, and by the way, if you look at the Wikipedia entry for dry county, and you look at in popular culture, it's just a paragraph about the Andy Griffith Show. I think that they had to make Mayberry a dry county in order to continue this weird theme that we picked up on, where it's the 1960s, but also the 1930s.
Yeah.
Like that's the common theme with Mayberry, is that it's anachronistic for its own time.
I mean, it also sort of plays into the theme that goes back to the first episode, which is the Andy Griffith Show needs play crime, but Andy Griffith is a cop, so he needs to every now and then solve a crime or catch a criminal, but it can't be anything real. Like he can't catch a murderer or like an actual person doing like any sort of violent crime or any real harm on another person, because it's the Andy Griffith Show. There can't be any actual consequences.
And it would break the illusion that the South is this, untrammeled, beautiful pre-lapsian place.
This Eden,
yes.
of pre-racial America. Like, so they needed like a crime that was basically just dudes want to drink in the mountains. Like a crime that they needed a crime that doesn't hurt anybody, and moonshining is perfect for that.
Yeah, it definitely serves the purpose. So let's dive into the episode. All right. So we open up with Andy visiting Floyd the barber, and makes a big joke that he's amazed that Floyd got his sideburns even for once in his damn life.
How has another barber not opened up? Like, it is a barber who is openly, like, the subject of constant open malice by everyone who leaves his chair. Like, no one gets out of the chair and is is just amazed that their head isn't currently on fire.
Yeah. Like, Floyd, I'm not bleeding, so, good job today, I guess.
Yeah, and Floyd will, advertise to you, be like, oh, hey, I'm the only barber in town. I'm terrible. I'm really bad at it.
And he can attempt to hide it.
Yeah, he's so you'll be like, oh, Floyd, you're a terrible barber. And he's like, yep, you got nowhere else to go. Monopoly.
And he's so proud of his new technique.
Yeah.
He's developed this technique of measuring on his comb, to get your sideburns the right. That's your setting, he says.
He reverse engineered measuring.
Yeah.
He invented measuring like a caveman inventing fire.
I also want to point out that, even though he does put his comb up to Andy's ear and to, measure the sideburn, be like, that's going to be your mark, he never, takes a pen or a knife or anything and makes a mark in the comb. So he's going to forget that immediately.
Yeah, no, I trust Floyd to remember any sort of a measurement about as far as I can fucking throw him.
That weird zany tie flying in the room. I love Floyd's ties. We should just have a moment of appreciation for his weird, dumbass Art Deco fucking weird things. I can't wait till they're in color.
I haven't noticed his Art Deco ties. Yes.
I love him.
Weirdest character.
He's so strange.
Yeah.
He really feels like he came from a different show.
Yeah. No, he feels like something out of the 70s. Like the kind of weird ass character that shows up
Yeah, he feels like he should have a dynamite catchphrase.
Yeah.
Alright, so but none of this is relevant to the show. It's just setting up. And then Barney comes trunching in, in full on manhunt mode. He's got his authority boner just all ready to go because he's very excited, and he tells Andy that he came this close to shutting down the moonshining epidemic in Mayberry forever. He's like really, like, this is his big case. He's ready to shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only crime that they can do.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, we got a chance to do, like, any police work whatsoever again. Hell yeah!
We have a chance to justify our existence.
Yeah! Like,
So Andy asks what his big lead was, right? Barney figures out that there's a distillery out of town, closer to Ben Sewell's place. No. He doesn't know it's Ben Sewell's place yet. He knows that there's a distillery out on the edge of town, and he knows this because he watched Otis walk away up the hill, sober, and then come stumbling back drunk an hour later.
okay, the first thing I don't totally understand about this episode, which it's been established in previous episodes that Barney Fife can follow around whoever the fuck he feels like.
Mm-hmm.
He follows around just a stranger in town the entire day just on the basis of he's weird.
Yeah.
So he can clearly just like follow anybody, do anything. Why is there not constantly a man on Otis?
City
What?
limits.
What?
I'm gonna say this is outside of Mayberry city limits.
Maybe no, because then they have no ability to enforce the law there. They can't go and arrest the still owner.
Oh, and I guess they are county sheriffs. So.
Yeah. No, just like literally Otis is a one-man crime wave. He is basically a human dowsing rod for any alcohol whatsoever in the entire dry county. So just like just put Barney on Otis, just have him constantly follow him around. He has this this justice erection that he needs to wave all the time. Like if you just put him on Otis and have him follow him around all day, he'll just like pick up the crimes after Otis does them and won't be like giving parking tickets to 8-year-olds, like, or whatever the fuck Barney Fife does all day.
And I was gonna say, like, yeah, isn't this in a time before, like, police harassment?
No, this was before any sort of a standard on how police should behave. Like, we've marveled continuously at, like, the illegality of stuff that Barney and Andy do, and it was, this was before just there were any sort of standards whatsoever over what you expected from a police officer. It was just entirely on the police officer's character.
Okay.
Which society had an absolutely, apparently from this show, 100% absolute unshakable faith in. They were like, every police officer is Andy Griffith, therefore he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Because the average American is not a student of American history, I guess.
Yeah! Which I think is definitely something we have not been able to shake. It's like, like I think on a fundamental level, there's just a shitload of people who are like, well, all cops are Andy Griffith, and, you know, Andy Griffith only breaks the law when he super duper has to, so...
Which is not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
He breaks the law when he feels like it.
yeah.
Whenever it conflicts with his personal sense of what should happen, or what the best possible outcome could be.
Or Andy, specifically.
Yes.
Whenever Andy doesn't particularly want to explain something to someone, just breaks the law just to be safe. Like,
Okay, so let's get into the actual plot of the episode. So outside of the barbershop are two little old ladies.
Wait. Before we go on, I wanted to ask about the witch hazel.
Oh, right. So, for clarification, at some point after...
what the fuck is the witch hazel?
After Floyd gets done shaving up Andy, Andy says, or he asks Andy something like, would you like a little witch hazel? And Andy says, sure, which I guess is like aftershave, probably.
Yeah, I'm guessing
then,
it's aftershave.
And then the joke is that Floyd just keeps on applying it, just slapping it on his face, just keeps on putting it all over. And Andy has to finally be like, nah, hold on, I can't be getting too adorable now. So I guess it's just like old-timey aftershave, but like, witch hazel, I'm pretty sure I have some in my bathroom right now. It's like an astringent, like a disinfectant.
He acts about, like, taking witch hazel like he's about, like
it's
Floyd,
an indulgence.
yeah, like Floyd offers him a slice of chocolate cake. Like, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna do some witch hazel.
We can't get some witch hazel for
It's
the
my
table?
cheat day.
Yeah.
If
You
I
know,
got some witch hazel, would y'all get some witch hazel? Is everyone going on this?
I've been so good lately. Just a little witch hazel.
I deserve this.
I
And it's like a recurring gag. So when he steps outside to talk to these old ladies, the Morrison sisters, one of them comments that they could smell the witch hazel. Like, they knew that he'd just gotten a haircut because of that.
I don't think it's a weird thing that must just be, like, lost to time of what the fuck was the deal with witch hazel back then.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. So,
maybe we're just overthinking it. It's just, it was weird, and I wanted to bring it up.
maybe
welcome to the show. You fit in.
Yeah, so
yes.
These two old women are standing outside of the barbershop, and one of them, so these are two, their names are Clarabelle and Jennifer Morrison, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and read their actresses' names as well, because, as always, they're fucking great.
Hell yes.
Their names are Gladys Hurlbut.
Yes!
And definitely not her real last name, Charity Grace.
Oh.
Plays Jennifer Morrison.
Oh my.
Charity Grace is like, yeah, that name was designed in a lab.
Not her real name.
Like,
So-
I've met a person named Charity, not with the last name of Grace, though.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Charity or Charity?
Charity.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Give me the first one again.
I'll do it again. Gladys Hurlbut.
Oh my god, inject
Who
that
probably-
name directly into my
Who
veins.
probably has like 7 Tony Awards, you don't know.
She's from the prodigious Hurlbut acting family.
The Robot Clan.
Yes.
Of the north end, of the south end Hurlbut,
Yeah.
obviously.
Do you know who I am? I'm a Hurlbut.
I'm wondering if it was, like, the name was Halibut, but it got, like,
Ellis
flanderized
Island.
to
Yeah.
Ellis Island. Yeah.
And just the guard that day was drunk. So he was just like, Hurlbut.
Okay, so.
Doesn't sound like anything.
God damn it, Dan. These two women are standing outside discussing what they're going to do because they need to say something very urgent to the sheriff. But one of them is very, very proper and says, no lady goes into a barber shop. Like, these women are doing, like, I'm doing much more proper. They're doing, like,
Oh, you nail it.
they're doing, like proto Emmas. Like, almost on the verge of that.
The weird old lady drawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the older, I guess, more sensible sister says, we're going to wait outside. And the younger, and in a relative term,
Yeah.
sister here is very upset because she's a little boy crazy is how it's described.
Yeah.
So the two of them wait outside for Andy to get outside. When they do, when he does, they meet and they tip him off. And our younger sister flirts with Andy a little bit. That's the line about the witch hazel.
Mhm.
And they tip him off that they know where a distillery is. Barney, of course, dismisses him immediately because Barney says, "Oh, I'm already on it."
Oh, they're both super smug about it.
Yeah, they're so excited. Oh, we've got some advice for you. We know where there may be somebody making some evil spirits.
It feels like there's constantly old ladies wandering Mayberry, and they're like these trickster spirits. Like maybe I have a riddle for you, Andy Griffith. Maybe it will help you out. Maybe it will drive you insane. Like just between Aunt B, these old ladies, and Emma, there's just like it's like Loki is just wandering town.
Every single woman in this city is one of the 3 witches from Macbeth.
Yeah.
They tip Andy and Barney off about this distillery that they know is run by Ben Sewell, outskirts of town, and they've seen it with their own 2 eyes, and that's what gets Andy to say, "Hey, Barney, shut up and listen to these 2 for a minute."
Mhm.
And so they go and they work on this lead because these 2 fine, upstanding citizens have tipped them off to this. And so they go out to the edges of town. The next scene, we see Barney and Andy like hiding in the woods behind a rock, looking out at this guy, Ben Sewell, played by Jack Prince, who, by the way, this guy rules.
He is like the proto hillbilly. Like he is the hillbilly from which all other hillbillies sprouted. Like it's so like just overall,
Or
it's just
fully
like,
formed from his overalls. It's amazing.
yeah, they just like he pollinated like one like overalls like sideways hat, one tooth the size of a watermelon. Like
there's no corncob pipe in this, but you know it's around. Like,
you know that they kept growing out of his mouth, and they like props department just had to like keep taking them away.
There's the soupçon of corncob pipe in the air.
Yes, a thick fog of corncob.
Upon seeing Andy and Barney, this gentleman just takes out his rifle and just begins firing at them.
Barney wants to draw his gun.
Yeah.
That's true. Barney wants to go in guns blazing like he always does.
Yeah.
And then he's given a reason to, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy Griffith still doesn't have a gun, which, like, they're doing a raid, and Andy Griffith still aggressively doesn't have a gun, which I'm sort of on board for, because fuck yeah, cop not having gun, awesome.
I mean, it's kind of a thing, like, where you don't want to go into any situation because you have a gun that you wouldn't go into if you were unarmed. Right? It's using the better part. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah.
No,
Again, he's still using, like, this is still the best part of Andy Griffith that is on show here of he doesn't use a gun, he's literally just walking in on the basis of, like,
good faith.
Good faith, knowing the guy, like,
Yeah.
basically being willing to put himself at risk and just talk the situation out regardless of the consequences of that.
But he is shot at, and eventually he yells, "Hey, it's us! It's calm down!" You know, and
Yeah.
So
When they call out of the woods,
Yeah.
they just get shot at.
Right.
Yeah. They basically say, like, hey, we're coming in there, and then gunfire. Like,
so they go in, and Ben. This is a good line and a good discussion. It's why we brought you on, Russ, for this little discussion right here, where Ben, upon seeing them, says, "Oh, I'm glad to see it's you guys. I thought you were the law."
the parallels between this scene and a fucking, like a raid, like a drug raid, is crazy. Because, like, it sort of feels like...
See, for me, it's the contrast between this scene and the drug raid.
Yeah, sorry, I should
let-
say
let-
contract.
let-
Yeah.
let me give the setup here. Ben says that, "I thought you guys were the law," and Barney, of course, takes offense and says, "What do you think this is?" And Ben says, "No, I meant like the federal law. Y'all are like local. You're not the real law. You're a federal law."
I tried to shoot you in the head because I thought you were a federal agent. Like,
Yes.
That's exactly, like, I tried to decorate the forest with your skull viscera because I thought you were a different level of lawman.
And it's played for laughs.
Yeah,
And that's the truth. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, so we brought this on because, like, some of the stuff that we're talking about here is not that dissimilar from, like, a cannabis situation. Especially when we're talking about federal versus, like, state versus, like, local level, like,
Yeah.
ruling, which is why we brought you on, Russ. So what do you got?
So, like, obviously there's a split between state law and federal law in a lot of states. That the federal law is very much like cannabis is a Schedule I narcotic, and that's it. That's the end of story. It's illegal. You can't own it. You can't transport it. You can't use it. You can't sell it. You can't grow it. No. And then you've got states which have legalized and said, okay, you can grow it for medical purposes, or you can grow it for recreational purposes somehow. And there's this legal gray area between where states' law and federal law conflicts. And that gray area is covered by things like the Cole Memo, or was until fairly recently. The Cole Memo was a 2013 memo by the Deputy Attorney General in Obama years that said prosecutors should go after very specific things. Prosecutors should be looking at companies that go across state lines, any, organizations that try to sell to children, basically go after the worst of the marijuana industry, but otherwise use your discretion. And that's been viewed as like this fairly substantial barrier. Now, it was rescinded a few months ago, further complicating the legal gray area. And the reason that we haven't seen like major cannabis crackdowns is because Congress keeps putting this amendment onto the congressional spending bills saying that the Justice Department cannot spend money prosecuting cannabis cases. So they don't have the money to do it. So it all exists in this, the parallel that exists to Prohibition is that Prohibition, it was also federally illegal, but it was more down to the state officiants to manage that. That's why you have Elliot Ness and the IRS getting into the business of breaking up alcohol sellers, illegal alcohol sellers, because like they needed to enforce federal law because the state bodies wouldn't do it. we have a parallel today with the DEA needing to enforce federal law in those states where the state folks won't do it.
And since Mayberry is in a dry county,
right?
So you're also talking about county level, municipal level police versus law enforcement versus the statewide terminology, which is another thing that North Carolina got into a situation with very recently, a couple of years ago, the transgender bathroom bill, quote unquote. The reason why that even became an issue in North Carolina state is because the North Carolina state lawmakers were trying to override and rescind a bill of protection to transgender individuals that was passed in Charlotte. The state level was fighting to override the citywide municipal level codes, and then eventually were brought to court and overridden at the federal level, or that still continues. There's a lot of different things going on here, and it's played just for a simple joke at the expense of Andy and Barney, who are not, quote-unquote, the real law. But they are. They're the real law.
See, I sort of kind of got a sort of a smack of corruption on it, because he doesn't say, he doesn't just say that they're not the real law. He refers to them as sort of not police.
Nobody in this town takes at least Barney seriously as a cop.
Yeah, but also, I think the sort of thing was, there's sort of the implication of that Andy Griffith would, turn the other cheek.
Yeah, look the other way.
Yeah.
Let your still operate.
He would have, if he thought Andy Griffith was someone that would enforce the law in this situation, he would have blown his head clean off.
Ben actually is surprised that he's getting arrested, too.
Yeah.
He offers them a drink, which is the funniest part.
Yeah.
Would you like a nip? I got some good stuff. He's going to give them the good stuff.
It's almost it sort of feels like the show is happening for the first time. So Andy is like, "Come on, man, there's cameras this time. I got to arrest you. We're on a TV show now. I have to take you in.
I have to do this.
Shut the fuck up and just come to jail.
Shut up.
We're gonna let you out almost immediately.
You know how this goes.
The keys are literally by the jail cell. You can leave anytime.
I'm just gonna make you listen to me play the guitar for a couple of minutes."
This whole scene sort of feels like how pro-drug war people see the drug war, in that it's completely it's almost a transaction.
Yes.
It is.
It's like the end of Heat. We're not so different, you and me.
Yeah, but more the war on drugs feels like it's an arrangement, because it's a guy who just wants something. He wants a way to have a good time. He takes a risk as a result of wanting to have a good time, and when the cops show up, he's arrested. But it's no hard feelings. He's just well, I took this calculated risk for wanting to get drunk. Take me to jail, and there's no hard feelings. So it sort of feels like this is the vision for how the war on drugs is, where it's just sort of they almost maybe see it as sort of fake crime, fun Andy Griffith crime,
And that's the economic dynamic that exists in the Emerald Triangle, or did until recently. The Emerald Triangle being Northern California's pot growing center. That it was a lot of blatantly illegal black market grows, even under California's medical system, that would sell to the medical markets because they weren't tracking it close enough to make it not possible.
Yeah.
And so you get this whole ecosystem that builds up of people going out into national park woods, wherever they can think they can get away with setting up an outdoor grow and not getting it raided, and setting things up, and then selling into the legal market.
And they will shoot you if you accidentally stumble upon that ground.
They will. That's why being a forest ranger is so dangerous. Actually, so just in the news this past few days, there was this big crackdown on an operation actually outside of Sacramento in Hungro sort of territory that was largely funded by Chinese dark money, where the Chinese businessmen, there'll be a man who takes care of the money, there'll be a man who takes care of the lease, and then there'll be a guy who sets up the Chinese farmer to come in and grow. And so it's these old Chinese farmers in their 50s and 60s get approached, and it's you're near the end of your life. You can go to America and make a buttload of money.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so the feds knock down the door, AR-15 raised.
I mean, that's just creating jobs for immigrants. Come on.
and take these guys who don't speak English And when they get a Mandarin translator into the room, the guys won't say anything. Because it's like, yeah, my family's back home, and my family will suffer the consequences.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Drug trade can get nasty. Surprise, surprise.
So I guess the takeaway from this, if you take away nothing, is that the drug trade is not the way it's portrayed on the Andy Griffith Show.
You know?
No, but again, like, I feel like it's sort of like how it views it, because, like, there's no... But there's no scene of...
It's how people who are not, like, read up on it, or people who are not involved, who never have to think about this, how they think it goes.
There's no scene of Ben Sewell's wife going, like, where are you taking him? We need him! And there's no scene of him going, like, wait, like, they
that
say...
still is how I eat in the winter, you know?
There's no scene of, like, of them saying, like, we're gonna bust up your still, and him going, like, okay, well, without that income, I'm completely ruined. Like...
And in the backwoods of Appalachia, like, that's entirely possible. Like, if there were jobs in Mayberry, this dude wouldn't be running a still. He's not running it for fun.
Yeah!
It looks like he's having fun. But...
I mean, he is probably having fun doing it because it's moonshine. But, like, he was also, like, they don't show, like, it's like they show the bare skeleton of someone getting arrested for a controlled substance, and they show absolutely none of the human carnage that happens around it.
I mean, to be fair, because none of that is funny. Like,
yeah!
Yes.
But this is like how this is how these people fucking imagine the war on drugs. They're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's cops and robbers. It's fun.
Yeah.
And yet, it's also worth pointing out that not all black market growths are that sinister.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's just one economic system that resulted from it, but it's vastly more complicated than that. And, like, there are definitely, like, people who just, like, oh, you know, they started home growing, and then, you know, growing in their basement, and then it expanded and started selling to their friends, and then it expanded and expanded, and now they've got this business.
Well, hold that thought, because I want to talk about that again, in a couple minutes. So they bring in Ben, and they lock him up, and they believe that everything, they did it, we busted the big moonshine peddler in this town, but then the Morrison sisters come around and be like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, they're fucking like informants. Like,
yeah, they snitch like crazy.
Yeah,
and that's gonna we're gonna bring that up in a minute too.
Yeah, that's also worth talking about.
Yeah. So they come in, they snitch, and they let him know that there's another moonshiner by the name of Rube Sloan, who's somewhere outside. And so, by the way, we should talk about, is it now that Barney starts bragging about destroying the still? Or is that in the next scene?
I think it was the next scene.
Okay. So they're tipped off by the Morrison sisters. Oh.
Which, by the way, neither of them question. Neither of them are like, hey, you just brought us two still.
They do though. They're like, because Andy asks, like, how do you know this? They give some bullshit excuse, like, we go on walks, we see things.
You know, old ladies, we go on prolonged hikes through the mountains of Appalachia. We do like our nice afternoon forest walks.
They're constitutional.
Yeah.
They take a constitutional.
So that's their bullshit claim, but Barney and Andy go and check it out, and we don't see this raid. All we see is them bringing Rube in, and Rube points out, and Barney points out that they have two moonshiners in the jail now, and they might have a jailbreak. And that's when Rube sees Ben and goes, You put them up to this, you snitch. It's a really dumb leap of logic for Rube.
What? Yeah. Really? Because if I saw my primary competitor in jail as I was being led into jail, I would be like, okay, well, you clearly decided to take me down with you.
You roll.
Yeah. Like they gave you a lighter sentence. They're taking me in. They're taking me in too. And more like, you get out here. You don't want me to have taken all of your business. So you roll on me too. So we're both going to walk back out to a vacuum.
We should take a step back and point out that by this point in time, they've revealed to the audience the Morrison sisters' secret. Immediately after they told him about Rube and Barney and Andy leave, that's when the Morrison sisters go back to their business. Now they run the local florist shop.
Yeah,
so they run the flower shop, and they have been hiding their bootleg liquors inside of flower delivery. So inside of vases and stuff, and bouquets with mason jars full, hiding inside there. Now they put out their moral explanation for this is that we're not like those other bootleggers. They just sell liquor for guzzling. we only sell high-quality elixirs for special occasions. And so, like, part of their business model is they make people give them a reason, like an excuse, to purchase the liquors, which that's not how that works.
Yeah.
It's not parking. It doesn't. The rules don't change on Sundays and holidays.
Wait, is God not watching on certain special occasions? Like, is that their fucking logic?
Do the rules change on holidays? Is Memorial Day weekend like the frickin' purge?
Maybe this was like the rules on like during Prohibition times, where it was like Elliot Ness rolled up and he was like, "You're lucky it's the 4th of July, or I'd take you in right here." Like, God damn you, Al Capone! I had you dead to rights, but it's fucking Columbus Day.
But it is like they really make a care to be like, we're upstanding citizens who just have. It's very similar to in Russ. I don't know if we want to do it now or if we want to do it like later. But we're talking about like weed moms.
Oh yeah.
Like,
What the
like,
hell is weed moms?
you know what a wine mom is?
Yes.
There you go. It's the TV show Weeds, but in real life.
It's a combination of like, this sort of entrepreneurial, do-it-yourself, grow at home like outlook, but it's also got this great parallel in the marijuana advocacy field, because it's like the same sort of like idea of like, oh well, we can't just have marijuana because it's fun and it's harmless. We have to have it because it treats diseases. Which, like, okay, sure, both of those things are true. I kind of wish we didn't have to make the one argument first to get to the other, but that's just the society we live in.
Well, I was thinking more specifically about the line of, like, now, like, white suburban moms getting, like, into grow businesses.
Yeah.
Where, as, like, a side, almost like they're selling fucking Tupperware.
Yeah.
And this has become a acceptable thing now in, like, higher class parts of the Denver suburbs, or like.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, like men who have small convictions for possession are still in jail for it.
Yes.
I mean, the whole thing sort of smacks of elitism in that, like, you have these two old ladies who are like, we just do this for fun. We're not like those lowly people who do this for a living. Like, we don't need to do this to survive, so we're fine.
It's definitely a class thing. We can't say it's a race thing, even though, like, in the real world parallels, it's definitely a race thing.
Definitely.
We can't say it's a race thing because there's no black people in
Mayberry.
Yet.
There's
Season 2, first black person shows up.
Do they do anything?
No.
Okay.
They look at a car.
All right.
But you're right about that there is this, like, split between, like, the people who consider themselves, like, upstanding, legitimate people and the actual consequences, the fallout of the drug war. That
the two people that Andy locks up, the two people that actually serve time, are, like, the lower class citizens who are like farmers on the outskirts of town.
And frankly,
cartoon hillbillies with like not able to afford shirts to go under their overalls. Like the picture of cartoon poverty.
Yes.
Like,
the people who are doing this for subsistence, i.e. black people getting arrested for drug offenses.
Yes. they are barely, in terms of cartoonish characters of poverty, one step above like a barrel. The props department nicks the barrel at the last second.
So Barney brings in Rube, and Rube sees Ben and believes that Ben ratted him out. But once he's convinced otherwise, he then starts to like shake down Barney to find out who snitched.
Yeah,
and he says like, "Was it blank? Was it blank?" And Barney just, instead of leaving like Barney should have done, Barney says like, "You're not getting anything out of me. I'm Barney Fife. I'm a steel trap." And then eventually he gets to the point where Rufus goes, "Well, no one else has been around my house except for those Morrisons."
From Barney's reaction.
Yeah, exactly. And once Barney like. His facial expression. So Barney got those women killed. Basically.
Why did he not take just take his face away from the jail cell? Like,
just leave.
He was so determined to prove his steely demeanor that he was like, "I'm gonna put my face right up to your face so that you can see every flinch of it."
Yeah. So Barney absolutely reveals that it was the Morrison sisters that were the snitches. Yeah. So gets those two women killed. Basically.
Yeah. If this were The Wire, they would be in garbage bags in the river tonight.
They're dead.
Yeah. No, it is like again, in a weird Andy Griffith way, a perfect illustration of why you don't snitch, because modern police are full of fucking Barney Fifes.
Now, speaking of snitches, Opie.
Oh my god.
We forgot that Opie's in this episode.
Yeah.
The biggest snitch in Mayberry.
Opie, the human loudspeaker.
So, Opie is the one who figures out who... Opie's the best detective in the entire show, apparently.
Yeah,
he doesn't realize anything.
Yeah. He finds out who the real moonshiners are because he goes to the florist because he wants, like, some flowers to give to his teacher that the teacher's mad at him for some unknown reason. He can't play at recess. Some dumb 60s kid shit.
Yeah.
As is always the case with Opie.
Opie broke a kid's nose, or one of the savage things that Opie does. Like,
yeah, I have no doubt that Opie 100% deserves whatever punishment his teacher is giving him. He asks the old ladies who run the flower shop if he can have some flowers, and they say, sure, but don't go in the hothouse, I guess it's the greenhouse. Because that's where our special flowers are. Which, when you tell a child that, they're going immediately to the hothouse.
They use they say don't and special, like, within rap, like, that's, like, just spray fucking, like candy all over it while you're at it.
Yeah, honestly, there's no faster way to get him there.
Don't go into that forbidden special room that I just threw a candy necklace into.
So we go back to the jailhouse where Barney and Andy are celebrating that they finally, like, cracked down on moonshining in this town.
In the county.
In the county, yeah.
It's like, hey, we've eliminated 2 still operators, so that's the whole county.
And then Otis wanders in drunk and just locks himself up and is like, hey, be sure to wake me up in a couple of days. Like, he knows what he's gonna do. Otis is like, well, I'm drunk. And I guess we've already seen the scene of Otis buying.
Yes. Yeah. So Otis has a pretty good scene where he goes to the Morrison sisters, and he tries to buy booze, and they say, "Oh, it's not a holiday today." And Otis then proceeds to try to invent a holiday for them. Shit, was the line the founding of Mayberry?
No, it's not even the founding of Mayberry. He asks, "Do you know when Sir Walter Raleigh first landed in Virginia?" And they say, no. And he's like, it's today. It's today. That's what happened. It's a real funny. Hal Smith, who plays Otis, fucking sells it. By the way, I really want to back up a little bit. During the raid scene, I want to give Earl Hagen, our composer, credit again. As always, the music in this show is really good. As they're like sneaking up on it.
It gets a little Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll probably play it in the background of this, but yeah, I always want to give credit to the great Earl Hagen for composing this.
He annihilates this episode.
It rules. And so Otis is really funny in this scene, and he points out, like, he's very mad about how much he has to pay for the liquor.
They're driving up liquor prices.
Yes.
Right. He says, like, I'll go get it, like, Ben Sewell will sell it for half the price. It's like, Ben Sewell's locked up. They're like, well, I'll get it from Rube. And they're like, Rube's gone, bitch. Like,
we're the only game in town.
Yeah.
Rube is such a good name.
Yeah.
I
Rube Sloan is a great name.
You know how hipsters are bringing back, like, a bunch of really dumb names? Make Rube one of them. Like, it's so good.
And there's another parallel there in terms of, like, that's one of the main arguments for having a legalized marketplace is because it drives prices down and it puts the black market people out of business.
I mean, Andy has effectively just created a monopoly. That is all. Like, the same amount of people are going to be consuming moonshine, which apparently is just Otis.
Yeah, he's the only. I'm pretty the only one who's, like, purchasing anything.
Otis is the black market. Like,
no, we see him. We see another customer, the guy who comes in to pretend that he's Muslim.
What?
You did not.
Hold
there's
on.
a point.
Okay. Pause in the show. Can you what?
There's a guy who comes in to, like, purchase the second time we see somebody purchasing one of the jars of moonshine. He's pretending that he's Muslim.
Do you have any memory of this, Marty?
What are you talking about, Russ?
No,
how can we pull this up immediately?
Yeah, we need to.
Bye! A happy Mohammed's birthday. I had no idea there were so many Muslims in Mayberry.
I could have sworn Lars Hansen was a Lutheran. Just as if it wasn't for their holidays, you'd never know.
Holy shit!
How did they get past us? Wait, I watched this episode 3 times. I didn't catch that.
It's just like a one-off line.
Yeah.
Happy Muhammad's birthday. And you know why? Because
Shit in my eyes. What the living
And then he like gives a little bow and like does a thing
Yeah.
and they give a little bow back.
yeah,
It's
he's there for like half a second. We don't even see the back of his head, basically.
Yeah.
The most shocking part of this is that the Andy Griffith Show knows what a Muslim is. I cannot believe this show had any awareness of who Muhammad is. I literally thought that was going to be like season 5. Someone would be like, there's such thing as a Muslim, and Andy Griffith would be like, what's that? Like,
Holy shit!
how did that sneak past us? I'm so mad at myself right now.
Personally, my favorite is Potato Week.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go ahead and talk about this. So,
Yeah.
among the fake holidays that are on there, so there's National Potato Week, which Otis wants to celebrate, and I think it's a pretty good joke because like potatoes may be
Yeah.
what they've been using that making the hash from.
Yeah.
The other one of the things that they say is Panama Canal Day.
Yes.
Now I feel like it's a very small but very intentional reference. So the title of this episode, Alcohol and Old Lace. It's a reference to the play/movie Arsenic and Old Lace,
Oh, yeah.
which also features a pair of elderly spinsters who are up to no good. In their case, it's murder. And
Yes.
there is a character in that play/movie who believes that he's Teddy Roosevelt, and he spends the entire movie yelling that he's digging the Panama Canal when in fact he's digging graves. So when they reference Panama Canal Day, I think it's a slight side reference to the namesake of that episode.
I think you're right about that. And
Yeah.
I think there's another parallel, though, because
Otherwise,
you've
there's
got...
no reason to say Panama Canal Day.
No, absolutely. No, it's a nice illusion.
Yeah.
Because it also plays to that trope of, the person pretending to be Rastafarian so that they can have cannabis as, a religious rite.
Is that's a thing? I remember, there were the weed churches that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, same deal. I'm gonna pretend that I'm Muslim, which in and of itself is pretty hilarious because...
Muslims can't drink.
Yes!
Holy shit!
It's the best.
Do you think that the Andy Griffith Show knew they were making that joke?
100% I believe they did. Jack Ellison and Charles Stewart knew their shit.
Oh my god, that's a nuclear bomb of a joke! Holy Christ!
Honestly, that single joke just jumped up the Andy meter for me.
And this is a 10! I'm fucking spoilering it. This is a goddamn 10 Andys. It's so good. So fucking good! Happy Muhammad's birthday, 2 old southern ladies. Oh.
Holy shit. Okay.
So, but it's great that there's multiple scenes of all the town drunks have to show up and just basically answer riddles to get booze.
These 2 ladies are the sphinxes.
Yeah.
What drinks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in midday, and 3 legs in the evening.
I just wanted to get sauce. I have to use some Rumpelstiltskin bullshit.
If you get the Morrison sisters to say their name backwards, do they go back to their dimension?
No, it's just 2 for 1.
Alright, so Opie,
Opie rolls in as the Deus Ex Machina of this show.
Opie comes in and is like, "Hi! I'm gonna scream at the top of my lungs everything that the director's given me."
I mean, Opie is really the perfect way for the characters to just basically telephone information across, like, from one character to another, because Opie is allowed everywhere, and he has no filter whatsoever. So they're like...
And also, like, Ronnie Howard only has one setting, and that's loud.
Yeah.
Take that, Academy Award-winning director Ron Howard.
Yeah, sometimes you spoke loudly. Fucking, but like, two guys could be robbing the bank, and Ron Howard would wander in and be like, I lost a race car in here, what are you doing? And they'd be like, we're robbing a bank, small child. And he'd be like, great, I'm gonna go to my dad. And they'd be like, that's fine. Like, and then later they'd be like, how are we caught? Like,
now I'll have to spend a whole 15 minutes in jail.
we only told that screaming child. What did we do wrong?
Opie wanders in as the Deus Ex Machina of the show.
Yes.
And reveals that he saw the special flower making machine that they have down at the florist shop. It's got a big copper kettle with a flame on the side and a big plastic tube and a basin at the end. He describes it still. Hang on a second. Before we get into this, I want to know, how did Opie think that made flowers? I want to hear just an explanation of how Opie thought the flower making machine worked.
I mean, Opie's level of intelligence is consistently so all over the fucking map. He's illiterate, but he can do like arithmetic. So now he doesn't understand where flowers come from, which I didn't even know was a thing that a child couldn't understand. He thinks you need to make flowers.
No, I want to know how he thought that worked. Like, what did he think the fire was for?
Okay, so my operating theory is Opie was Morrison sistering the Morrison sisters, and as soon as their operation is busted up, Opie's going to go to Otis and be like, there's a new game in town. Spread the word.
I'm in on this. I like it.
Little Red has the finest stuff in town because he has the only stuff in town.
Okay.
He's the new cartel.
So after Opie has just kind of walked in and said, hey, here's the exact description of a still, bye, and here are some blueprints later.
He describes a still with remarkable accuracy.
Yeah.
He's like...
Yes. Was he in there studying? Was he making like a sketch of it?
He comes just short of like saying the brands of like, it has a Stutco brand 3x6 cylinder.
Well, no, if the television show Psych has taught me anything, it's that having a cop for a father just gives you inherent observational skills. So
yeah.
So they go ahead and after that point, and
he comes in with a vase of flowers, and he needs to get a new vase for the flowers.
Yeah.
Right,
because this one smells funny. Also, at some
flimsy pretense for coming in.
Yeah. Also, at some point in time, Andy makes his prisoners listen to him play the guitar, which I think is cruel and unusual punishment. Like that's they just sit there playing and they roll their eyes going, how much longer do I have to deal with the hillbilly ass shit?
This is why he became a sheriff.
Yeah,
and he plays it like a banjo.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what Andy Griffith did. It was this whole flat picking thing. He was.
Yeah,
he was legitimately a good bluegrass guitarist. Let's give him that.
He used to stand on the street corner and play guitar, and people would walk away, and he'd be like, "Someday you people will have to listen to me play. I will bide my time, accumulate power, and one day you people will have nowhere to go when I want to play Wonderwall."
So they let the bootleggers go, and they bragged. Barney bragged about how he destroyed their distilleries, with my axe, pow, pow, pow. He's telling these stories of how he just went in and just slaughtered,
Again, these poor hillbilly men are listening to the destruction of their livelihood.
And there's Barney going, ha ha ha, pow! I destroyed. You're gonna die this winter. Ha!
They were like, you smashed it to pieces.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a bad Don Knotts.
It was fine.
That got away from me.
I just wanted to point that out. So, now they've been tipped off. They go to the florists. They find the Morrison sisters, in flagrante, essentially.
Yeah.
They're right in the middle of distilling, and they're like, well, we caught your asses. You're going to serve no time.
The Morrison sisters argue that they didn't know it was illegal. And Andy Griffith says, okay, sure.
they give this horseshit excuse that they were just selling the elixir, and it's horseshit, and Andy knows it's horseshit.
It's kind of weird because it feels like the show created this twist and had this payoff of like the Morrison sisters going to jail. But, like, it feels like at the very last second, like, a studio executive rolled in and was like, you can't put two old ladies in handcuffs. You can't do it. They just let them go free. And so they're, like, the Morrison...
Two old white ladies.
Yes. Yeah. Morrison sisters are like, wait, this is moonshine? Am I pronouncing that right? Moonshine? That we've been making this entire time and not elixir? People have been using this to get drunk?
And
you need to destroy it! Oh my goodness!
And they even try to pull this, like, those gentlemen were lying to us when they said they had celebrations. Like,
yes.
Which not how law works.
And these savvy business owners have been eliminating the competition.
Yes!
Like, there is no way they do not know the consequences of their actions.
The Morrison sisters are the most effective criminal masterminds on the show because even though they do, in fact, lose their moonshine operation, they get away. They're the only criminals to show up on the Andy Griffith Show, and they live to moonshine another day.
In fact, that's exactly what they do. So after Barney smashes up their still, with like I know that we're 20 years prior to The Shining, but I expected it to be like a tracking shot over the head of the axe. He's just gleefully, just maniacally smashing it.
Like tongue wrenched out the side of his mouth. Crazed eyes. Don Knotts is acting his fucking brains out. Yeah. Like, this is the best acting Don Knotts has done in the show so far. Or like the tongue, like his tongue is like screwed out of his mouth. He makes himself look like a friggin' lunatic.
In fact, it's apparently it's so just disturbing that they have to cut away. We don't see the axe make contact.
The best music is playing the entire time, which is woo, boom, woo. Like, it's so fucking good. And like moonshine is spraying on Andy's face like it's blood.
And he's really flapping his mouth.
Yeah,
to take it in.
It be like a Dario Argento film or something. It's like just spraying everywhere.
And it's in black and white, so there's no like you take for granted that it's clear, but like just Don Knotts swings an axe, black and white liquid sprays on someone's face.
Was Psycho out by this point? Psycho was 1960?
Sorry. 1960.
Yeah, so Psycho came out in 1960. This is a year after Psycho.
Yeah. So that might have been a visual that.
They may have used it as a point.
Holy shit!
You were saying, Russ.
Yeah, their still you can see is like a higher class still than the hillbillies have. Like it's emitting less vapor than the other one.
Good job, props department.
Yeah, good job, props department. And also, like, there's a parallel there in terms of like extraction. So, like, you grow cannabis, you can sell the flower straight, you can also take the flower, or the trimmings of the flower, and you can extract it to get oils and, other forms of things. And, like, that can be a dangerous process. Like, you're using butane, you're using explosives. In still, what you're using is, like, you're evaporating the methanol off, because when you just make alcohol, you get methanol, but methanol is poisonous. That's the part when you see like the trope of people drinking really high proof stuff and going blind. That's what they're drinking is methanol. And so like a better class of still will be more sure about getting the methanol out of the moonshine. That's what makes moonshine dangerous.
So they're selling like the elite, like
yeah,
the high calorie.
They got the best stuff in town.
Holy, so basically they were in like the like the boutique moonshine that you normally would have to like go to on a special occasion, and they just wiped out like the cheap shit, so that no one has any choice but to come for their like not overpriced. They are selling the best stuff in town.
And the class parallel is that the folks coming in and like, I'm going to start a big commercial cannabis business, they're the guys with money. Because the applications to get a license are like in the realm of $10,000 or $100,000. Because they only want like the big businesses, like the folks with money to do it right, coming in and doing it. And then they go and in turn, like when we saw when California went to the fully legalized system and started eliminating its gray market and its black market, the folks who had licenses are now calling on, like, hey, this online service should only be dealing with licensed people.
Yeah.
Because, like, we want the state to work for us, because we went through all the trouble, expense in getting the license, and, we're just going to sort of ignore the fact that it monopolizes things.
I mean, it is. I don't remember who said the line of America doesn't care what drugs you do. America cares whose drugs you do. Yeah. Like America, like the Andy Griffith Show sort of encapsulates that. Like, it's okay if you do the moonshine of like the affluent white old ladies and not like
who are selling their elixirs.
Cocaine versus crack and mandatory minimums.
Yeah. You're not doing that. You're not partaking of the illicit substances of the dirty poor person. Like, yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on in this. So, and of course, the Morrison sisters do no time, right? Which is pointed out because you can't put two old white ladies in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So the epilogue of this is they claim that they're not doing this anymore. They pass by Andy on the street and they say, "Oh, we've got a new way of celebrating. Would you like to try our preserves? We just dropped a jar off with Barney." By the way, it's a dumb way to do things, right?
Yeah.
To just go to the cops, basically taunting them, essentially. Like, again, another episode where just old ladies dunk on Andy and just taunt him.
Old ladies are the chaos gods of Mayberry. Like, they are trickster spirits who wander the town, just tormenting characters.
So they give him a jar of strawberry preserves or whatever. Andy comes in, looks at Barney, and says, "Hey, we got these preserves." And Barney's already just like halfway through a jar. He turns around, and again, Don Knotts acting perfectly.
Yeah.
Completely shit-faced. He turns around, "These are the best preserves I've ever had."
Which, can you do that? Can you load preserves with moonshine?
It's not like weed.
Is it like a Jello shot?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea. Is he's just sitting there eating Jello shots.
It is very much a Mr. Police, you could have saved her, I gave you all the clues situation. You can't do shit to stop us, Andy Griffith. We will kill again. What are you going to do? Arrest two old ladies? Like, you can't. It's the 1960s. We're going to just keep putting liquor in shit.
So fucking bad.
It's great. Like, it is the first loss that Andy Griffith really faces, where, like...
Completely... Well, not the first loss. The first legal loss.
Yeah, the first failure to enforce his authority.
He definitely takes the L on this one, though.
Yeah, no, he, like... the show never totally acknowledges it. Like, he feels like Andy Griffith, like, when the old ladies say, like, we didn't know it was moonshine, Andy Griffith goes like, well, that makes sense. And the show is also like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the show
even though they showed us, even though they depicted everything, like...
Which...
I kind of wanted the producer to be like, you know we can see all this, right? Yes. You know that we watched the last couple of scenes. Apparently not close enough, because there was a joke that flew fucking fast. But...
Yeah, I think we gotta rewatch the whole thing and then re-record. Just, I'm really, like, what else got past us other than the Muhammad's birthday joke?
Well, for one thing, so...
God damn it.
You know what, though? You know what? He only had to watch one episode. We have to watch all of that. So.
True.
These do blend together. I thought Don Knotts did karate in this one, and that's the next one.
Yeah,
the reason I mentioned Opie bringing in the vase is because, like, he's got to get a new vase, and he leaves the vase behind, and it's still got a little bit of alcohol in it.
Right.
And there's this great tension where Otis is watching from the jail cell going, oh crap, they're gonna know.
Yeah.
And, like, Opie has given them all the information they need.
And during that entire time, they keep cutting over to Hal Smith, cutting over to Otis, who is just, like, watching, and he can't say anything. We skip the part where Barney tries to, like, shake down Otis, and Otis is just like, no.
Yeah.
Otis doesn't snitch. Otis lives by
There's
his
a
code.
code of honor. Yes.
I will say, Otis is an extremely effective criminal. He has an arrangement with the cops where he apparently just, like, pays no consequences for any of his crimes. He doesn't snitch. You can't get fucking information out of Otis. Like,
and yeah, he's got this thing on lockdown. Otis has got a good shtick going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's really good. Hal Smith is very good in this part where he's like just watching her. Shut shut up, kid, but he knows he can't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, so really effective, good drama, honestly. Really effective drama in this scene.
Really screams with his eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, world-class eye screaming.
And so he sees this jar that once held very hard liquor left behind, and like Andy and Don Knotts, like Andy and Barney are like leaning over it, discussing strategy of like, oh, I guess we'll have to sweep the countryside for this last still. Well, we can go over here and that and there, and like Barney starts to know, I smell something odd, sort of on his face.
Also, can't rule out the fact that since Otis is an addict, he also is just looking at that little tiny bit of alcohol lustingly. Like,
True.
He is in withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, let's go ahead, and I think that's the end of the episode. You want to get this wrapped up? Do some ratings on this bad boy?
hell yeah.
I have no idea how to rate this episode now. But as always, we are going to rate this episode on 2 scales. Number 1 is the Andy meter, which is how good is this episode. Dan, how good is this episode?
10. It's a 10. Yeah. No, if we all agree it's a 10 because otherwise we're fighting right now and we have to add an extra 20 minutes onto the goddamn episode. It has, like, let's roll through it. It has a perfect game of cat and mouse, like the breaking up of a cartel. Like, it has the Muhammad's birthday joke. It's the perfect episode.
Yeah, this episode rules. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. Russ?
Yeah, I'll doubt for 10.
Okay. So the Fife score, which is like the Fife-o-meter, which is how horrifying, how fucked up, I'm going to say it's pretty high. It's like an 8. Because the hypocrisy of Andy pissed me off so much.
And it's sort of, and again, it's like one of those things where it's horrifying because it's so like it's so familiar,
right?
Like,
yeah.
Like that hypocrisy sort of like echoes into modern life.
Yeah.
See, that's precisely why I'd give it a lower score. Because, like, for my money, I'd say that it's like, I'm familiar with this kind of horror. It's not particularly horrifying to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I'm inundated.
So on a 5 scale of 1 to 10 Fifes.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that would be my reaction to it. So I'll give it a 3, but you guys feel free to give it an 8.
You've been such a study of this for so long that you're sort of like, you're numb to it.
Yeah.
So we're basically like we're seeing some shit that you've like read about, seen whatever 1,000 times. And like we're like, oh my god, the horror of it, and you're like, yeah, this is Tuesday.
All right, well, so that's our rating for the episode. I think that's about to wrap us up. Dan, you look like you have something to say.
Wait, did we actually? Did we actually say any numbers for Fife score?
Oh, I said 8. You said 3.
Okay, yeah, 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for the day. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Breaking Mayberry. As always, if you like what we're doing, you can support us by sharing the episodes, subscribing on iTunes, give us a rating, a review. That stuff is great because it helps us show up in search engines and get into the earbuds of other people who, for some reason, want to hear about the Andy Griffith Show. You can follow us also online on Twitter. We are at Break Mayberry. That's Break Mayberry, not Breaking. On Facebook, facebook.com/Breaking Mayberry. You can email us if you want to, breakingmayberry@gmail.com. I don't know why, but please do.
Have we gotten emails yet?
Not that I've seen. So feel free to send us an email and tell us, whatever. Talk to us about it.
We're gonna just start getting spam in that thing. It'll just be like another avenue for like.
Nothing but loving pictures of Don Knotts.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Please
just actually
send us your favorite pictures of Don Knotts.
Photoshopped pictures of Don Knotts.
Oh, absolutely. Photoshop the pictures of Don Knotts doing, whatever we'll tweet them.
Yeah, no, we will just send us any pictures of you doing literally anything with a picture of Don Knotts. We'll put it up.
You are playing a dangerous game.
Yeah. If we're gonna have an inbox, let's fucking use it.
Alright, as always, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Schneid Remarks. That's SCHNEID Remarks.
I'm Dan Ludwig. You can find me at the Luds, 2 Ds.
Hey.
Yeah, broke my spirit.
You can follow Ron Howard at Real Ron Howard. As always, #tweet at Ron Howard. This time, ask Ron Howard about his skincare regimen.
Just tell him his skin looks nice and just ask what he's doing to...
Whatever he's doing, it's working.
It is!
You know, the top of his head doesn't get any sun. He's always got that hat, right?
The man's what?
65? Yeah, he's looking good.
He looks 50.
So ask Ron Howard for skincare tips.
You might want to make a dress.
We're going to, as a podcast, single-handedly inflate Ron Howard's ego as much as we can.
Hashtag tweet at Ron Howard so we can see them. Until next time, be sure to do all the like and subscribing, etc. that I just said. Thank you again to Russ Smith, our special guest, for coming on today and talking with us.
Happy to be on.
Next episodes are going to be episode 18. Oh, this is a fun one. Episode 18, Andy the Marriage Counselor, and episode 19, not a fun one, Mayberry on Record. So these are two very weird episodes.
It's a nice speedball of Andy Griffith.
All right. So that's what we're doing next time. Until then, we will see you all down at the fishing hole.